How would you describe a strong female character?
Um, Someone who's in control of their life, someone who isn't uh, like they don't have to be like out of touch with their emotion. They don't have to be dead to the world. They just have to be um, strong enough to deal with what they're uh, put in front of. They have to acknowledge and take control of things. Um, they
Can we move on?
they need to be able to say no.
They have muscles. They can lift weights. I don't know.
A strong female character should be able to display every emotion on the spectrum. The character shouldn't be held to one standard or another, but should ring true, like a real human being. That's the sign of a good actor and a good writer.
I think a strong female character is just a well-balanced human being. I mean, it's just a strong person. I mean, I don't know that I would say that there is such thing as just a strong female character, but there's a strong human being, and then there's, what's perceived as not to be a strong human being. And growing up in a family where I had a single, working mother, I know what my mom needed to do to be strong growing up, and I know that she also, wanted to tap into some of the traditional parts of, being a woman, going out every once in a while and looking pretty, but she would do that after working a full day at the factory, at an automobile factory, so it's just kind of being able to balance that.
A strong female character is human.
Strong female character would be, I guess, from what I've been taught by media, would be a woman that can be independent, that lives on her own or could live on her own, has a job, has her priorities right.
Um, One who is well versed in the views of what's going on, one who plays a leadership role in whatever show it is, a woman who is comfortable in how she portrays herself.
Someone like Elle, someone who is a character in her own right beyond how she relates to the male characters. Someone strong and independent and not vilified for it.
I think a good way to describe them is usually they have their own motives, they have their own plot line. It's not centered around a male character. They're very driven by their own actions and wants, and if you take out the male, they can still stand freely on their own. For example, you could probably have the adventures of Donna Noble without the Doctor, and she would still go around and do awesome things. Or River Song. She does go around and do awesome things. And so forth. So yeah, they don't need men. They can stand on their own, and they're a super cool character. Which is really vague.
A strong female character, it's hard to say. I think that it's more importantly is it a good character first and foremost, and that if it's a well-rounded three-dimensional character, then it doesn't matter if it's male or female. But we do have a definite lack of stronger female characters as it is right now, and I think that as it things stand right now, a strong female character means a character that is bold and no, not that. I mean, it's a strong female character is, I mean, it's just a character that's fully realized, and that it doesn't matter if it's if it's physically strong or tough as nails or and badass and beat people up or whatnot, or if it's more cunning and clever, or even if it's more not very capable at all. It doesn't matter. But if if it's a fully realized, and that if it's giving us something new, that's a good thing, then I would call that a strong female character. What about a weak female character?
Possibly often in emotional distress, doesn't have her stuff together, often moved by her emotions and not thinking logically.
Are the ones that giggle and aren't able to think for themselves, the ones that are really obviously just caricatures of humanity.
Pretty much the opposite. Someone who is completely defined by how they relate to the male characters. Like, let's see if I can think of an example. Probably like in Supernatural. In Supernatural, you have the two main character, and the only women characters you ever really get are love interests or like their mother. And so they have no personality really beyond that.
Weak female character would definitely be subject to a lot of like female tropes, like girls like pink. But instead of simply being that an aspect of their character, it's a defining nature of their character. A female character who is constantly just berated and unable to take control of their life, unable to make a decision. A girl who is constantly looking to someone else to make decisions for them instead of making a decision themselves.
A character that isn't very well defined. She is just there, and is female and is a trophy character.
Oh, one whose ways are wishy-washy and we go with the tide and say this is okay, I can do this, or uses that sweet dainty bush or that blonde dumbness that a lot of people parallel it to.
Not anything, but things that fall into the more negative stereotypes and tropes and idioms, and so the damsel in distress is rarely anything good. That was a comb. I actually have a big problem with female characters in action movies and in a lot of science fiction and fantasy today, because they're always very strong in a very masculine way, that they're powerful and that they shoot things, and that it's the Laura Croft, it's the Ripley from Aliens and idea, and that it's the way that a female character can be strong is to be a male character, pretty much just with in a female body and maybe a bit motherly as well. So I see those as kind of not as weak female characters in their own way. Maybe not weak per se, but just not good female characters. Not always, of course. Some of them are awesome, but.
One of the chicks in James Bond that just hangs around him and looks pretty. That's what I think of. I haven't actually ever seen James Bond, but I think of that sort of like just sits around and goes, "Oh my gosh, you're so awesome," or like is just like saved by the male all the time and can't do anything on herself. She always needs a man.
I don't know. I feel like weak and strong are very dualistic, and I guess that's just the religious study part of me coming out, but. I don't know that there is simply a weak or simply a strong, but just people that are in different parts of their lives.